All right, Sunny, welcome to the call. Welcome to the client interview. The way I do this is really casual. We're gonna have a conversation, and a lot of times these interviews are more for our current clients and potential clients who just people listening in who don't believe that this world is possible, to
Yeah.
have them break through those beliefs, because it's so important to be able to do that. So with that said, for those of my audience who don't know you, let's get a little bit of an origin story. Like what series of events led you into this crazy world of monetizing from your audience? And specifically, you joined us with the Facebook group environment. So let's walk back and take us through that journey.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Also, I was like trying to get a good spot to sit. I actually found you through, it was like a very specific series of instructions. It feels like from like my subconscious or like the universe. And I originally did get on social media, and I never really had an intention to really grow or be a big person on social media, but I think through consistency, I just really started to grow, and people really enjoyed and understood what I talked about. But my struggle was, I had all these followers and I was like really struggling financially, and it was just like, it wasn't making sense to me. And I realized I was really good at getting attention. I wasn't really good at like getting leads, or I was good at getting leads. I wasn't good at like making sales towards an offer that made sense to people. So coming to GroupConvert like so far has really helped me align more clearly with what my actual service is on earth, and like tighten up what it is that I give to people. And I'm really grateful to be able to have such a deep team, and everyone has such specific knowledge, and it really helped me feel confident and feel like I have the tools in place to actually do this.
I love it. So you were in my Venn diagram when I was doing my presentation. I'm like, we're in the middle of this Venn diagram: popular, poor, or not earning that, the PP. I say we're in that
Yeah.
PP. We know how to get attention, but how come that's not being reflected in our bank account here?
Right.
So yeah, and I really like to dive into the details as well. You said it was a very specific series of events. What happened during these series of events? How did you find out about us, and what made you go, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. This makes sense.
This actually all started like years ago. Before I even got on social media, I was like listening to Tony Robbins, and through Tony Robbins, I learned about Russell Brunson, but I kind of ignored him at the time. And I just like bypassed the whole idea of what he was doing, because for some reason, I just don't feel internally I was ready at the time. And this year, fast forward like 4 years almost, Russell Brunson came back up, and I realized that Russell Brunson has been like doing this thing for a long time. And like so I do astrology, for those of you who don't know, and Russell Brunson's a Pisces, and I didn't know this. And then I found out that he won like the Guinness Book of World Records for like the most sales in 90 minutes. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm a Pisces. Like, I need to learn this. So I started reading his book, started like listening to his ebook, started like digesting everything. And then like you came up, and I was like, okay, because I wanted to do what Russell was doing, but like the way I had my platform set up, it was mostly like I give a lot for free. I give tons of stuff away for free, like how to learn astrology, how to grow on social media, all this. And then Kim, you just like popped up, and one of your people reached out to me, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna think this time. I'm just gonna say yes, and just say yes, and just say yes. Because last time this opportunity was here 4 years ago, and I denied myself of it. It made no sense to me to do that again. I was like, I need to break this cycle. I need to break this cycle of fear, and break this cycle of complacency. So I just said yes to everything, and I have been very satisfied so far with the level of support that I'm getting. And yeah, that's basically how I got to you, Kim. Was like realizing like this rabbit hole that I avoided was the rabbit hole I in fact needed to go down.
Ooh, you're all, when you talk, the way your voice is, it's almost like a sermon. It's like preach, amen to that.
I'm hoping to develop it as we work more together. I'm learning.
You have a good cadence.
Thank you.
um, I love that, Sunny. So there are so many people in your spot who know how to get attention. Not so many. I would say you're still very, very rare because you have such a large following. And but a lot of times getting attention is not enough when you don't know how to package your offer the right way. You don't know how to talk to your audience so that people can purchase. And then even yourself, you're thinking like, who am I to charge? So through our training, the reason why I would like to like get into the details again, I'm hammering away the details, is what you said, that we have such a good level of support that enabled you to continue to say yes to yourself. So can you walk us through like, what did you actually consume? Who did you talk to? It's fine if you don't remember names. Sometimes my clients are like, I talked to this person, I forgot their name. But like what happened after you enrolled and you got in and you're just experiencing us and in that yes stage? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, I was traveling and I just got into my Airbnb. I signed up. A day later, Gab reached out to me. We set up a call and we talked. He walked me through, the lessons that I would need to go through. I said, okay. I just decided to just like watch through them all. I like listened to it even when I was like in the shower. I was just like downloading, just absorbing. And then I think my first call that I got on for a group was with Larry, and Larry's just like really cool, really like straightforward, honest person. Like he really reminds me of myself, like when I'm coaching my own clients and students. And he helped me with like the sales process. I think I even like the first call I had like my first class that was leading into my group launch. And I was like really nervous about it because I wasn't like selling anything. And I was so used to selling something. But I noticed like, especially with me and my energy, like the more I give, the more I get. So this is why like I've always been in that high volume level of service. It feels better to give a lot away for free to people and serve them. And then of course, the people who do want to work more closely with you will come closer and ask for that, they will pay for that implementation. And it was just nice to be reminded of that through the team. In the last few weeks, Angel has helped me out a lot with my copy. And like just last week, we went over some really cool things. It's just been like a really cool process because I was selling things for so low. And one of my issues that I used to have very deeply was like, I didn't know how to price my things because no one's doing what I'm doing. Like I'm combining astrology and business in this very specific way. And like there are business astrologers, but none of them are doing modern businesses. So like having a sense of value has been very challenging because in my head, I'm like, I want to give it away for free, and I do, but then it's like the implementation piece is like, some of my clients have gone from like 8,000 to 16,000, and all we did was a chart reading. All we did was look at their zodiac stars and plan things out better. And like, it's just my habits have changed. That's really what it comes down to, is like my habits around my business have changed. And I've definitely seen some of the old paradigms that I believed in fall apart and allow me to recognize what my true value is and what my true skill sets are.
Oh man, I love that. Your habits have changed. I always say this journey is not just tactics and support. It is really who do you get to become as you are going through this journey, because the type of person you step into, you are the client you attract. You end up attracting clients who are more like you. Like they realize that they don't want to say no to themselves for another 4 years. Who knows how many more years will pass by, and revisiting that, but saying yes, and in that yes mode, you change your habits, so you become that person that sees that value in yourself and charge what you're worth. So I do want to get into that, because a lot of people think, oh man, I want to give everything because that's the right thing to do. I don't want to charge too high because then people can't afford it. How did you specifically overcome that inside of our environment? Like, was it Larry telling you that you have to charge higher? Was it us saying that? Was it angels communicating to you this is what should happen? Was it the lessons? What made you go from I want to give away everything and I want to charge low to, okay, I'm going to charge high ticket and we'll see where it goes? Walk us through that process.
It was not your team. It was actually you. Your video sales letter got me into like a frame of mind. I was like, I do so much for free. I give so much away. And like, I know I'm not perfect. And this is why like I built a team around me that, fills in the spaces that I am not the best at. And the more I listened to you, I listened to your video sales letter like I booked I didn't even listen to it. I booked the call and then I listened to it 3 times. And I was like, this is the time. Like, I need to actually just do this and allow myself to go through. And that's why I was like so adamant about figuring out your zodiac sign, because I was like, where is she falling in my life? And it made sense when you told me. And at this time too, it makes a lot of sense as to why I need to learn these things for my business, because I have these skills, but I was lacking the structure that I needed to like deploy the actual teachings that I give to people. And now I finally have that from your program. I actually have that for myself and for my own company, to where I feel more confident saying this is the price. And most people pay in full, and going through and allowing myself to really feel the value that I'm pushing out, because what I'm giving to people is actually, even though I'm selling high ticket, when I still do the math in my head, the price that they're paying is nowhere near the value that they're getting long term. And even like when I signed up for your program, it was a very easy yes for me, because I was like, I'm spending this amount, but I'm going to have these skills for like ever. So why the price doesn't even really justify the skill that I'm going to acquire here at all. In fact, I'm going to have this and I'm going to be able to share this message on a deeper level for so long. So whatever the price is, I'll pay it, because I understand the value associated with the skill.
Oh man, I love that. You're like, I'm going to be resourceful because this is lifelong information, which is very different than some people. They see my VSL just like you, or they'll see my presentation and then they will say, you know what, this looks good. I'm going to go out there and do it first, and then I will make the money, and then I will come back. How come you weren't like thinking like that? Like what made you and what would you say to those who do think like that? Do you encounter yourself people who say that first? Let me do that.
Yeah. I have run into one person who said that, and I'm a pretty straightforward person. If I had known this stuff before, I would have done it already. It would have already happened. It would have, if I saw what you did and could have done it already, I would have. But clearly I call it the debt of ignorance. Like, like there's ignorance debt that I came into earth with. And, you know, this is like a generational trauma. This is cultural trauma. This is like a spiritual trauma. Like when you come onto earth, there's just things you simply don't know. And for you to assume that you can do what an Olympian can do because you see them running in a straight line doesn't mean you know what kind of training they went through, what kind of programs they went through, what kind of diet they're actually in, what kind of habits they are actually taking in. So like, I was like, I'd rather just be on the winning team and learn through the team efforts rather than try to keep doing it alone, because what I've been doing by myself has not been working.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that phrase that you just said. Just because I saw the Olympian run doesn't mean I know how to run like they do. There are so many components that probably led to their success, that you don't want to pay off that debt in a way where you're not on the winning team. And that debt, maybe in the next years, it's going to be bigger and bigger and grow heavier because you just don't know what you don't know. I love that, Sunny. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I
Honestly,
hope
thank
you're
you.
using
I've
that
been,
line when
what was
someone's like,
that?
I hope you're using that line when someone comes up to you and they're like, yeah, let me go and try it out first and then come back to you and figure
Right.
this out.
Only one person said it, and I was like, that's okay, but you would have been doing it by now, like realistically. And yeah, that's why I'm so grateful for you and the team. It's just like, I'm finally in a position where I feel like I can teach from a place of confidence and give my program participants the resources that they need to have the structure to succeed. Because a lot of people, I feel like, of course, a lot of people have different styles of learning, and like, because there's so many different key players on your team, it's allowed me to like organize myself and organize, like, I consume every video like 2 to 3 times, because I don't want to just like know, I don't want to just like understand it. I want to be able to explain it. And I think that's
Mm,
more important. For me personally, like, I'm more of a student than a teacher, which I think it helps me be a good teacher. And the way things are laid out in this particular program that's different from others is you have so many team members that have different skill sets, and they're all very like quick to answer, very high communication, and it just feels really safe to be on this team. It feels really comfortable. I feel I wouldn't say empowered, I would say encouraged to empower others would be how I feel through your
yeah.
program.
Yeah, it's one thing for us to get success, because we can convert clients, no problem. But it's another thing to help our clients really figure it out for themselves. So in this process, it's a very much like supportive, nurturing environment for you to feel safe, to charge your worth, because that is something that a lot of people feel very scared to do. So I love that you said the environment feels safe. Can you go into, and this is mostly for current clients too. I like to do these interviews to talk to current clients, because we do have clients who, in a moment of like, oh man, everything isn't working 100% the way I like it, and there's this like moment of, fear, of franticness, and what you went through some experience as well, and you come out on the other side because we're consistently being tested, and it's how we respond that really like builds our character. Because can you talk into like what made the environment safe for you, and for those who feel more frantic about like getting results fast, what would you say to what would be your message in that?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually spent 5 times the amount with another coach, and I emailed you and the coach in the same day. I would say you are a little bit further away from me in terms of like reach, and you contacted me like within 24ish hours. My other coach didn't contact me for the last like 4 days. And like that to me is huge because like when something's very challenging for me, I'm not the type of person who normally reaches out for help. In fact, I'm usually the person who just like starts problem solving. But there are certain things that I like, you know, I'm not an island, and I realized like more like it's okay to ask for help over the last few years. And I think that's what I really enjoyed was you directly reached out to me with a message, and Gab and like Larry even, and like multiple levels of support came through when I was like in pain. And like it just makes me feel so confident to know that like I'm not an island. I'm not doing this alone, and things are just now coming onto the other side of the coin. And I'm really grateful to know that like, you know, even when as things start to get better, I'll be able to have people in my corner that I can like say, this is like a team that I can trust and support. And you know, I've been in other coaching programs and containers, and like the level of just being there, I think was really what helped me feel confident. And because I really don't ask much from anybody. It's really always been like a thing since I was a child. I never really needed much. I kind of always just figured it out. And now I'm like, wow, I actually have some people that like, if I say something and I'm not just yelling into a cave, getting an echo back. So I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful, genuinely grateful.
Yeah. Well, now, you know, after you've made some win, our fees are actually 5 times more now. Just kidding. What? 5 times? All right. It's
Literally.
I'll
No, I
give you this.
actually, in my head, when I first signed up, I kind of wished and this is like not regret or going back on my actions per se, but there's a piece of me that was like, if I had found this first, I would have gone more in depth here. And I still feel like I will. I just had to acknowledge that feeling of wanting to go deeper and still wanting to go deeper, because I do value more attention with this kind of work, especially. It's very high touch work, and it's very sensitive work, and getting people's results is very important to me. So yeah, moving forward, I would recommend, if you can get into the higher tier with Kim, just go for it from the beginning. And I say that because you will receive, again, you will receive the value that you put into this should you do the work that is associated. And the work isn't hard, and you won't be stressed out unless you don't do the work. Usually people get stressed out when they don't do the work. And because if you do the work, you're tired, you're gonna go to bed, you know, like you're not gonna be stressed out, you're gonna be exhausted, literally. So for those of you who are like on the fence thinking about it, like do it. Just try it, do it, and go hard. I would say just go hard, go for broke. Like, yeah.
Go for it. Well, you know, I have had clients who they're like, Kim, this is my last dollar. Are you gonna take it? And I said, yes, of course, I'll take it, because you're either in that story for the past years of your life, fighting those bills, those limiting beliefs, the way that you think that hasn't served you to get here, or you're gonna break through. And one of the things that I feel from you, Sunny, the aura from you, is that we stand strong in our vision of who you can be, so that you can stand strong in your own people's vision, so that they don't collapse under that circumstance, which life can hit at us from multiple angles. And it's one of the things that I feel very strongly about. You stand strong in that vision, because my coach did that for me when I was scared, when I was freaking out. He stood strong in my vision, and I said, well, because that moment happened, I didn't give up. I kept on going no matter what. And that kind of resilience, mental resilience, is what this takes. So I love that, Sunny. I do want to get into more details about the differences. You said that you invested in yourself a lot, and it's one thing to have the level of support be different. Can you get more into, like, you said that you watched the videos that we have 5 times, 3 times. What made it easy for you to buy material? I hear people in the background, but it's okay.
Yeah.
What our material and our things different than what you've experienced before?
The videos are short and digestible. All the documentation is filled out for you and ready. I'm the type of person, I optimize a lot of my work, so I use a lot of Chat GPT, so I'm able to like copy paste, take what I had originally put in, and then just like clash them, have Chat GPT finish things for me, like at least on paper. It's already in my head, but on paper it's nice. um I love the way the meetings are set up. They are like, they're not too big to where like everyone has, they're spread out with so many, they're spread out with different specialties so that you can go to exactly where you need. I do my best to just show up to everything because I know it's better if I just sharpen all parts of my blade. And I like that, how in touch every coach is. And I think one of the things that really sets your program apart is the group launch program. Like, part for me is very relevant because I have such a large group of people. It's always been hard for me to like, after doing a webinar, it's always like hard to like know where to convert them next or bring them next. So I would just do these free classes, do these free classes, do these free classes, build my reputation. And then it never really converted into anything outside of like wanting a birth chart reading or astrology reading. And like, it felt like very under what I actually knew, because I've worked for Best Buy, I've worked for Hewlett Packard, I've sold for Apple. I when I was 18, I had the highest year-over-year sales volume for Best Buy in Minnesota, which is like one of the, I think it's like the top 10 like territories. And like, I've always been an amazing salesperson, not because I love sales, but I just love giving people what they want, like what they actually say they want. I love giving that to them. So
Yeah.
just like bringing hospitality into my business and sales, and now I have this structure through you and your team. Yeah, the main difference is like in the detailed, I would say it's definitely the documents and the way the course is set up and the level of support and like the referencing where to go. And like there's very key indexing, and like everything's just like the communication is just high level, and it's for leaders. It's there's a community aspect. I really enjoy like the aesthetic of everything that you put together, like your image, the way your coaches are set up, the way you've like, I can tell you put a lot of attention in detail into like the feeling of the process, the feeling of the growth, the feeling that there's you. I can tell you've had a lot of sleepless nights putting this together, years putting this together, and like I can tell you like taking your time, rushed and like failed, made mistakes, understood, corrected things. Like I can feel the you inside of it. And I really, this is why I needed to know your sign, because I was like, how is this affecting me? And I'm realizing now it's forcing me to over communicate. It's forcing me to lead. It's forcing me to like organize and bring people together and like have a team and like have like a system that actually makes sense, that's fair, and has like it just, there's so many layers that I'm just like super grateful for.
I love that, Sunny. Whenever I, because, yeah, like you said, you're modeling after a program that I'm not like deeply, I am involved, but I'm not involved in the day to day as much, because I want you to be in that seat, in that position of not having to do everything, like having a team that will run the machine with you, for you, alongside you, right? So I love that you mentioned that there were me in there, and that I was a little bit further away, kind of out of your, not out of your reach, but not like that person that's right there, because then modeling after that would mean you have no time to do anything else. And one of the things I hear from your explanation is that now you have a good system to follow after, to model after. And I think that is such a big benefit from saying yes into a program, because a lot of times people see us and they're like, oh, growing a Facebook group and making money from a group and running a, let's say, 5-day challenge. That's something that I might not do right now, or I don't need. Can you go into what the program actually is about to you? Because on the one hand, we get a lot of people with objections saying like, oh, I don't need to run a 5-day challenge, so I don't want to do this. Or they think that it's one thing, but for you, like how you said it's multiple things. Can you get into like specifically when you said systems, what does that mean for you? It could mean setting up a Calendly. It could mean something very specific. The reason why I asked to go a little bit deeper, like you said, you like to go deep. I like to go deep too, is in the details. Because as much as people watching this might not be a client, this interview is me talking to current clients going, look, Illy, this is what you got to do. This is the blueprint of a client that takes action and gets results. So can you speak to that, into that a little bit?
Yeah, the details specifically for me was my offer. I feel like I had a very clear offer and I was wrong. The, the offer that I was giving was good, but it wasn't speaking to a specific person in a specific way at a specific pain point. And because I didn't acknowledge that at a higher level in my content and in my platform, a lot of my followers have no clue what I actually do, and they haven't known. They just think I'm a traditional astrologer. They always ask me for readings, and I'm like, I don't do readings at all. Not because I don't want to, it's just that I'll have a reading with someone and then they'll disappear and then they'll forget what I said probably within a week, and they'll go and do the thing that I told them not to do because I didn't have a 90-day, 6-month, or a 12-month program. So now I strictly only do 90-day, 6-month, and 12-month program, because when you have sustained conversations with people, they're more likely to integrate the habit that you're hoping to teach them. And I feel like that's something that I didn't have before coming into this. Also, with that being said, having an organized way to like really get my group of people, having a way to filter through my people and know who is serious about taking action and who wants to keep doing their job and complaining and relying on other sources of income. And once I realized, because some people, have been following me since I was like really I used to be homeless like just 2-3 years ago. And like some people have followed me through there, and like they saw last year when I made 6 figures and they were like so impressed. And I was like, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is just having systems. And then I realized even after making 6 figures that my systems still weren't in order enough to actually make sense. So now, we're on track to do like more because of having a proper way to organize a group of people into a system that gives them value immediately and helps them have activation points and helps them like succeed for free before they even get into the actual program. And they're excited. Like I have people every day. Like, of course, I think last time we talked, we're pushing back the date of my next launch, but like I have people messaging me daily asking me like, when are we going to start? Like they've been going through all the free resources and they're very excited. So, and I didn't have that set up before. And I'm really grateful that now like that is the move that we're going into, because it creates more trust. It creates more value. And like, if you don't have the system set up in place correctly, you can lose out on a lot of the people that would and want to give you money and want help with the implementation and would take a risk on you. So, from a hospitality, because my biggest thing is hospitality. From a hospitality standpoint, it's almost worse if you don't follow this type of system, because it works. like, you know, people who are here watching this, like, you wouldn't be here unless the universe, there's something inside of your subconscious that brought you here. And you need to acknowledge that. There's something inside of your subconscious mind that brought you here. There's something you've been wishing for that you have, that you wouldn't be watching this, you wouldn't be around this unless it made sense to you on a subconscious level. The conscious level is like watching like the screen, like, but the subconscious is like, I have this deep desire that I want to fulfill before I die. Do it before you die, because these systems are in place because it works. You wouldn't be here unless something about this worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Your subconscious is telling you, watch this, because you know that they, you know, you can see that it works, but you don't really know exactly the details. So
Yeah.
it's like it's your mind putting the pieces together. And I love how you speak to their subconscious level. So I actually rarely do that. I'm just like, well, actually, I say, do you see? Do you see how this works for you? Do you see how this all fits together? And would you like me to show you how this works? So it's very much like that. And I want to ask you, how do you, in terms of your own transformation, you mentioned you charge more, you have a longer timeline now, instead of just telling them something to do and then later on they do the thing you tell them not to do and their habits aren't formed the right way. That is a transformation. Another transformation you mentioned was now that you have the systems, you have the confidence to say, hey, come in and trust me, and this will work for you. So can you talk more into what other transformations, personal as well as professional, that you've experienced as you're going through our program? I know that you started building a team. Did you have a team before in place?
Yeah.
Tell me some of like the before this and then after this.
Before, the team was mostly just, I have two people right now. They're in the Philippines, and they are amazing. They're both like really funny, really cool people. They were just doing appointment setting. As of right now, I actually have them like going through the course as well and learning, because ultimately what I would like them to be doing is onboarding and doing things more like what Gab does for you.
Mhm.
Because I do need to be able to make I do need to be able to do more CEO type things. And I actually just got permission. There's this kid who reached out to me. His mom just like signed off for him. She was like, yeah, he's good to work. He wants to do this. So he's going to be doing the appointment setting. But like, yeah, this is my first time actually having more than one other employee. I usually have just like one assistant virtually. And like now I have like three people, and soon to be five once we like start getting the other two people. Oh, actually, they start like this week. So it's just like really interesting to have all of these different people involved on the team. And like, I feel really scared because it's like, you know, people are depending on me financially. And like, I feel empowered because it helps me know that I just need to focus on two things, which is like creating leads and generating sales, and, you know, training my team and making sure everyone's like in communications. And of course, like finishing your program will help me see the full scope of that and being around here. But yeah, I definitely like, the more I consume the GroupConvert content, I think the transformation for me has been like developing as a leader, developing as a CEO, because I think a lot of people get trapped into their business as an employee, and it can really mess with you. It can create that island feeling where like, you know, people will quit their business because it's a job. And I don't want that, and I don't desire that for myself. So I feel like, you know, putting myself in this position just makes far more sense.
Yeah, and you got confidence to do that. Like what, so how did you actually get those more people? Were you seeing that I have a team and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and find them? Like,
Yeah.
or is it did our team help you find anyone? Is it because one of the things that is really important, as you mentioned earlier, was that, wow, some people can be on that island. And I actually spoke with a client who's coming in. He's been on that island for 6 years. He made himself a job, and he is working to the bone every single day without even the awareness of that he can't step away with the right systems until he just stumbled upon us recently.
Right.
So can you talk more about like what specifically had you go, all right, well, I'm so used to one VA for a long time, but I'm going to switch things up even though it's scary. Like what gave you that confidence? What type of resource and knowledge did you seek out to make that change?
Yeah. It was actually a few months ago. One of my buddies, he actually owns a company called We Assist. And like, I kind of was confused on what a virtual assistant was because I've had assistants before, but they never did like my DMing. They never did like my onboarding. They never did all those things. They just mostly like did tasks that I didn't want to do, or things that like I was just far too busy to do, or things I was being lazy on. And I realized like I wasn't optimal when I was doing that. So now my assistants, like, because I have the scripts and everything, they can go in and like bring people in and keep the flow of leads coming in. And all I need to do is like be the face of the company and rely on like, you know, consistently doing my message, consistently pitching my offer on the internet. And it's just been like really, really enjoyable to have them come through. And now that they've gotten the skill of like talking to people and DMing, now I feel far more comfortable with them like hopping on the phone, hopping on calls, onboarding, setting them up with the tools that I've gotten from your program in order to actually like bring our clients through in a way that feels like successful, and like helping them hit their activation points so that they can feel empowered and like happy that they're in our program. So that's been the big change. And this new kid, he's 17 years old. He's learning from like this other crazy, like high volume seller as a setter, but he's like 17 and he's like very talented. Like last night we were talking about the script. He was like, I want to optimize it a little bit here, tweak a little bit here. I just want to make sure that people actually get through and signed up. And I was like, you're 17. Like, okay, cool. And he's a Libra. So I was just like, this is really cool. Like this kid's like literally trying to bring more blood into the body and like more air into the body. And I'm really grateful. Like, I know I wouldn't have attracted him unless I needed that, and unless he needed me too. So it's really cool to see how the pieces in the body of my business is coming together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So the experience is that you didn't even understand the capability of a virtual assistant or what a person that's online remotely can help you do. And you witnessed that it's possible. So that empowered you to go and hire more people and then plug those people into our training so that they have the scripts, they know what to say. And then that enabled them to see for themselves, like, other things they can improve, or the 17-year-old kid that's helping you going, oh, wow, I can do so much more. And his energy is not just to work for you, clock in, clock out, but to breathe more life into your business. And like you said, bring blood into the business. So I love that, because we underestimate, well, I think it's because we just don't know what's truly possible out there until we experience it and witness it for ourselves. And even witnessing is such a big, I would say, a big transformative experience. And then experiencing after witnessing, going into and seeing the possibilities, that changes everything. So I love that you spoke to that. And one of the things I want to ask is, I know you experienced our program so far for, not too long. you just move really fast, Sunny. I want to ask, because you have a huge following, some people who are listening might go, oh man, Sunny already has a big following. This might not work for me if I have a smaller group, if it's tinier. Can you talk to, who do you think Ignite is for or can be for? And what are some misconceptions that people might think Ignite is? And then what's the reality that you've experienced yourself?
Yeah, I would genuinely, and I've said this so many times, it is so much easier to have 10,000 followers than it is to have 100,000. And even when I had, like, it's actually better to have 3,000 followers, because 3,000 followers and 10,000 followers is the same. And the reason why I say that is because the level of attention that you need to give to that group of people, it's like the same as having 3 people in your house or 10 people in your house. You still need to have eyes on those people and talk to them and speak to them. Once you start to get past 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, I'm at like 650,000, you lose people just because they might follow you, but you don't show up on their radar. Like, my views mostly come from brand new people, like brand new people that have never seen me before. And like, this is a numbers game, but the way social media is set up and the way the algorithms is set up, it's designed to keep people on the app. So if you don't have a lot of followers, but you know how to keep people watching your specific thing that you know how to specifically solve in a specific way on social media, like, you're good. Like, my clients, I tell them all the time, like, if I had to choose between like having sustainable business and having a bunch of followers and I could go and like do it all over again, I would just focus on my retention. Cause like,
Mm.
I come from a video, like during COVID, when COVID first started, I was on TV and I was a TV host for this television show, and I'd like bring local businesses on and talk to them about astrology, talk to them about their business, how they work in the community, all this stuff. And then I got forced into being in my apartment by myself, and then I had to take videos by myself. And then I accidentally blew up on TikTok a year later. And then I got a TikTok coach, and then I replicated everything he taught me, and then I got really good at it. Social media is not something that you need to be focused on. It's making a high quality video that has a hook offer and a story, or excuse me, a hook story offer that makes sense to the person that you want to talk to regularly and help regularly. And when you're at the higher level of service, like, you don't need a large following to be able to do 10,000. Like, you can just have a $10,000 offer and get 1 client a month, and like literally work like 1 to 2 hours a day tops. Like, that'd be like on like a crazy amount. Like, you don't need a lot of people in your following to do this. And like, looking back again, like I said before, if I just had 3,000 or 10,000 followers, which I've been put in that position before, I've lost my account before, I was still able to do $10,000 months easily. And I even built that account to 40,000 followers, just following the process I just told you. Like, the social media growth part, this is actually something I would love to teach Kim and the team too. Like, growing on social media itself is not hard. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how easy it is. It's just another system that needs to be followed and make sense to the people that you want to serve. So don't be deterred.
I think I remember. I love that, Sunny. I think either it was you or someone else that was like, Kim, you made millions. Look at your Instagram. It's not all together. I had a team member, not a team member, trying to go, Kim, let me just work on your Instagram. Let me just do that for you, please.
Oh yeah, no, I did go find your Instagram, and I was like, oh yeah, there could be some tweaks here and there. It'd be like easy. But yeah, no, I think you kill it on TikTok. Actually, you do better on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Yeah, one of the objections I hear is like, my people are not on Facebook groups. My people are not, so I'm not going to do this, Kim, because they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on other platforms. What would you say to those people who are like, no, I'm not going to do this because my people are not on Facebook or Facebook groups?
I mean, realistically, so I didn't say this at the beginning of the interview or anything, but like, my background is visibility. I'm a visibility coach. So like, a lot of the people I help are like people who are like high profile, people who like want to become more high profile, or people who like aren't high profile and they want to have more exposure. The way vertical videos works is you post that video in one space, you should be posting it realistically in every space. Just remove the watermark and post it in every single space. Post it on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest. You should be posting it everywhere, because why? You already made that one video. Now all you have to do is go and plug it in each space. And some of you might be like, oh, that's a lot of work, but like it's gonna bring you like millions of dollars potentially. Like ultimately, like you just need to you need to figure out which channel works best for you. And like for me, TikTok was the one. Instagram I did okay on. For like, I was on TikTok, or I was on Instagram for years, and like I maxed out at like 4,000, 5,000 followers. I put all my time and energy on TikTok for a year, got 30,000 followers, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. And then I converted those people over into my Instagram. And then same thing with Twitter. Like people who follow me on Twitter, I just vent over there really. And like people who follow me on Twitter end up following my YouTube. So you just need to find the right channel for you, because everyone has a different way of communicating. People will probably love you on one of the 10 channels that we have on Earth. You just need to figure out which one of the 10 you dominate 3 or 1 of those areas. And it does take a little searching, and it does take, 3 months to figure it out. But like, if you put your offer on all these different platforms, I have people that come to my things from Twitter all the time just because I talk about it. And I ask people at the beginning of the call, like, where did you come from? They're like, oh, I'm from Twitter. Or, oh, I saw your YouTube. Or, oh, I saw your Instagram. Or, oh, I came from TikTok. Most of them are from TikTok. But you should be posting your stuff everywhere, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's going to come support you. You never know who actually needs your help. You never know who actually is like looking for you, because you have a sole contract with them. And if you don't talk to them, you won't be able to touch them in this lifetime. And that's the whole point of being here.
Yes. Amen to that. I'm telling you, whenever you talk, it's like a sermon. Sunny, I love it. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. With that said, Sunny, when I close up an interview, I usually go for an hour, and this hour went by really quickly. I usually end it with 3 questions, and then you can go and tell us like where to find you, who do you help specifically, what website. So the 3 questions is very rapid fire. Is time to first win when you came into the program. And this is something you should model after too, for your time to first win. And then time to complete return on your investment, or just return, you feel like I got my return on my investment. And then how much revenue did you pull in through this process? So time to first win, time to feeling like you got your return on your investment, and then how much. So those are the 3 rapid fire questions.
Yeah, time to first win. I think I signed up, got into my Airbnb. It took like 2 days to land a client who did 10,000 up front, which was a 6-month program. The return on investment was instant. I actually doubled from that. And then revenue since was about 20K.
All right. Time to first win is 2 days. You got your return on your investment in 2 days, and then 20K is your revenue so far. And how long have you been in our program?
Like a month.
All right.
Yeah, just over a month, like a month and a week almost, or something. Yeah.
And you have more time to go with us. And I would say that you should stick with us for the year.
That's how I'm feeling too, because I actually would prefer to have more meetings with you and like talk to you about some of the crazy things that like we could do, because I just know I've seen what you're capable of, and I feel like having the audience size that I have, I could serve way more people than I'm serving. Even with everything that's going on, I feel like there's a way to like really support the world in a way that like I would feel very fulfilled with. So definitely.
I love that. Let's go, Sunny. With that said, where can they find you? Who do you help specifically? I know you're like, I'm not here to read some charts for you. So let me know, like, who do you help specifically? What type of coach are you? Your visibility coach specializing in, and then where can they find you?
Yeah, so I help artists, content creators, coaches that are, whether you're or not you're in the spiritual realm or not, that's totally fine. But I will help you gain 10 to 20,000 followers and monetize that audience for your own business. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on anything. If you Google my name, I'm actually an artist. That's like my passion, but ultimately I do help other people that are, aligning with their business. And, one of my dreams is to help people monetize their passions and like serve their community. So you can find me at Sunny MF Money.
Sunny MF Money. We all know what
Yeah.
MF is. All right.
Yes. Sunny motherfucking Money.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I love that, Sunny. Well, I am so grateful that you're in the community that we have. You're part of Ignite. So grateful that you got such a return on your investment, like almost right away as you come into the program, and that you do want to have a closer relationship with us moving forward. I'm really excited for that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you. This won't be the last time we chat, because every single time you do a big win, I do bring you back to see what is that transformation between the you that you are today and then that you in the future that's leading this team, this movement, making that impact and having that income that you deserve, especially after so long of giving away things for free.